As someone who wants to be intentional in the impacts of their shopping, some days we can just feel inconsequential, right? We take the time to be considerate and informed in our choices, to find the good products from the brands that take responsibility for their impacts on the issues we care about. But then we turn around and we read the news and all we see are reports of the climate emergency and ever more ocean plastics and yet more human rights abuses in supply chains. It's so easy to feel like the choices we're making just don't make a difference, that we're just inconsequential in the face of these issues we're tackling. But trust me when I say being intentional in the impacts of your decisions is one of the most consequential things you can do. And it is changing the world. Consider first off that just 10 years ago, or 5 years ago for that matter, we didn't see nearly as many stories in the news about climate change and ocean plastics. Not because we didn't have climate change and ocean plastics, but because not enough people cared about these issues to justify the media running front page stories about them. Fast forward to today, and all these news media outlets are tripping over themselves to run stories on these issues because so many people care about them. And now that's a success of people being intentional in the impacts of their choices. Right? Climate change, ocean plastics, just sustainability itself is not a fringe narrative. It is the mainstream narrative. And that's why we're seeing so much of it in the media. It's not necessarily any worse. It's just way more popular. More people are concerned about it than ever before. This is good, because this will lead to more action. And we're seeing some of that action too in companies themselves. So recently, we can look to Unilever, one of the world's largest consumer packaged goods company. Now they have hundreds of brands. Some of their brands they identify as being sustainable brands. These are ones where every step of the way, every decision they make, they try to optimize sustainability. And then they have even more brands where sustainability is not a primary factor in decision making. Well, looking over a 4-year period, their sustainable brands grew 43% faster than the rest of the company. And that was a clear signal to them that they needed to roll out their sustainability practices across all their brands, not just a small portfolio of brands. Or more recently, think of Adidas. Adidas just recently finished their annual general meeting where the executives and board of directors meet with shareholders and usually just discuss financial issues and some strategic planning. But at this one, the CEO pointed out that based on their own research, 70% of their consumers take sustainability into consideration when they're making a purchase decision. And that's leading Adidas to identify sustainability as one of 5 strategic pillars moving forward, right? Not in their marketing, not just in their corporate social responsibility, but as a strategic pillar across all operations. And they're doing this because of consumer demand. And consider IBM. They recently released a report with the National Retail Federation that found there are just as many purpose-driven consumers, so people who want their purchases to align with their values, as there are cost-conscious consumers, or people who take price and convenience as a primary focus for their decision-making. So when you see developments like this at Unilever and Adidas and IBM, some of the world's biggest companies, and you see that sustainability is becoming a strategic development, not just a marketing campaign, you know things are changing. And they said it themselves, at least Adidas did. They're changing because consumers have demanded it. And how do they know consumers have demanded it? Because people like you and me have been intentional in the impacts of our choices. We take the time to find the brands that align with our values. We factor this into our decision-making process. Right? So every little choice we make is actually of great consequence. So yes, some days we will read the news and we will feel defeated and we will feel inconsequential. And when that happens, we just have to take a step back and look at where things are today compared to where they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and realize that things are changing and they're changing for the better because of us. because we have been sending a clear signal to all companies about what to make and how to make it. So, connect with us at askmotive.com and let's keep this signal loud and clear. Let's make sure companies know what we expect of them, because change is happening and we're not done yet.